Oh, let me throw this out. By the way,
it wasn't that anybody didn't think she was going to be successful or not play. It was just that we felt the other players in the W deserve shine as well.
Molly, I said...
Really, Molly? Wow.
So she obviously has lost a good bit of confidence from 3. And okay, I get it, but I must admit I lost a little respect for Caitlin Clark.
Sheryl Swoopes, one of the most iconic figures in women's basketball, sparked a storm of controversy when she downplayed the rising stardom of Caitlin Clark. Despite Clark's undeniable performances, Swoopes didn't even mention her name. Sports analyst Rachel Demita weighed in, saying Swoopes' comments not only dismissed Clark's talent, but fueled the fire even more. Caitlin Clark's critics just lost it after she shattered yet another record on the night of September 14th, and honestly, they're starting to look ridiculous. Why can't these bitter players and analysts handle her greatness? Every time someone throws shade her way, they just come off as desperate. She's out here breaking records, dominating the league, and leaving them in the dust. It's like watching a pro school a bunch of amateurs, and they can't stand it. Seeing Caitlin Clark break records and deal with all this criticism, if you're as amazed as we are, smash that like button and hit subscribe for more. And let us know your take in the comments. How do you think she handles the pressure and the haters?
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty, girls. I expect men to be petty because we're the most insecure group in the world.
Oh, you are.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility.
Caitlin Clark doesn't just rise above the noise, she obliterates it. While the so-called critics fumble to keep up, she's out here rewriting the history books. Every time they talk, they prove one thing: they're miles behind. It's almost embarrassing how they scramble for excuses, like Molly Karam from ESPN, who couldn't stand still while Clark's greatness took center stage. Instead, Karam insisted on sharing the spotlight with other players, regardless of their performance. But let's be real, Clark's out there earning every headline, while her critics are just trying to keep their names relevant.
People didn't think that Caitlin Clark was talented?
What I'm saying is that a lot of you came up here, and because Caitlin Clark was getting shine, you guys were saying, don't give Caitlin Clark shine, because there were women that was before her that don't get shine. So no, we're not.
Seriously? People are actually mad that the most dominant player in the game is getting the hype she deserves? Molly Karam, for example, couldn't help but throw shade, claiming that Clark hasn't even played a single pro game yet. But let's be real, does that change anything about how unreal Clark's game is? Whether she's on the college court or stepping onto the pro stage, her talent is undeniable. She's breaking records and setting a standard that even veteran players are struggling to match.
Listen to me, I don't think anybody doubted her talent. It was just she was receiving all the accolades, the praise for everything that was happening in the WNBA, and she hadn't even played a game yet. So people were just saying, respect who did it before, respect the other stars like the Asia Wilsons. We're also seeing Angel Reese and others like that started balling on the court, which she did. And you're right, and you're 100% right. And could I just finish my thought? Is that okay?
Yeah, but Molly, we want to come back and answer you, Molly, and we run out of time. We want to answer that because that's not correct. It wasn't before she started playing. They got on us after she started playing. No. This segment that Shannon and I are talking about, she was playing.
When that happened, how was she playing when she started off? Was she playing at the same level she's playing right now, or has her game now evolved as the season went on?
No, but she was playing well enough to get more credit, to deserve the credit that she was getting. And people were getting on us.
Molly, let's be real. This isn't a charity. The spotlight goes to the best. And right now, that's Caitlin Clark. She's out here shattering records, dominating every game, and earning every bit of praise. But here comes Molly, acting like Clark's success is somehow unfair to the rest of the league. Even Stephen A. Smith had to step in and check her. But Molly, she just can't seem to handle the truth. Maybe it's time to stop spreading the praise around just for the sake of it, and start accepting that Clark is simply that good.
I'm just because women. This first.
What happened?
The kind of heat that me and Shannon have had to take. Molly, what's up? You understand? Because here's where I'm at, Molly. Where all the ladies at? What did I say? I mean, who's the bad guy? Shay. Me. We were the bad guys. Shay. Me and you. We were talking about this girl, Caitlin Clark. Oh, let me throw this out. By the way,
Stephen A, it wasn't that anybody didn't think he was going to be successful or not.
And Skip Bayless. Of course, you had to jump in with your take. It's almost predictable at this point. You can't stand greatness unless it's controversial, right? Instead of acknowledging Clark's undeniable skill and impact on the game, you chose to stir the pot. But guess what? No matter how much you try to downplay it, Caitlin Clark is rewriting the narrative, and your critiques are only making her shine brighter.
So she obviously has lost a good bit of confidence from three. And okay, I get it, but I must admit I lost a little respect for Caitlin Clark.
Seriously, Skip? Like anyone was asking for your opinion in the first place? You've made a career out of tearing down top athletes. But this time, it's different. Caitlin Clark's dominance isn't up for debate. It's a fact. There's a whole world out here praising Clark for her insane skills. And here comes Skip, sliding in with his unsolicited, outdated hot takes. It's almost like he just has to go against the grain, just to stay relevant. Let's be real, Skip. You're just one of those handful of bullies who can't handle Clark's success.
But she's fallen into, for her, by her college standards, a pretty terrible slump.
She's out here breaking records and redefining the game, while you're busy nitpicking, acting like your opinion carries any weight. Let's be real, nobody's losing sleep over what you think of Caitlin Clark. She's earned the respect of fans and players across the league. Meanwhile, you're stuck on the sidelines, throwing shade, hoping someone takes you seriously.
All the way from Denver to see the Fever and Caitlin play.
She's brought a lot of excitement to this city.
We picked up, and now you got your June, July, and August.
Obviously, this means more money for local businesses, but Luderman says it's about more than that.
It's all about the experience, to be honest, for the WNBA fans.
And by the way, Skip Bayless, your recent comments, they're not exactly painting the whole picture. You might want to revisit the facts because Clark's achievements go far beyond what you're willing to acknowledge.
Mad Mike and the Mad Dog. Think about Jim Rome. Think about all of these folks. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's always right. Hell, I'm not even saying and denying that there's sometimes I left myself scratching my head. Skip Bayless knew how I felt. Whether it was Tebow or Troy Aikman or LeBron James or whatever the case may be.
Now, let's talk about a legend. But even legends aren't immune to questionable takes. Cheryl Swoops, a trailblazer in women's basketball, recently took a shot at Caitlin Clark, suggesting that Clark's style of play wouldn't survive in the WNBA. It's surprising to hear such a comment from someone of Swoops' stature, especially given Clark's proven ability to dominate on the court. So, what's behind this critique? Let's break it down.
Yeah, well, there's never going to be probably another 5 or 6 years you can play in college sports, right? And that's the thing about it, right? Like.
So will Caitlin Clark be a good pro? Absolutely. Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now? Immediately? Absolutely not.
Very different from college. Mm-hmm. But the other part, yes, we need more teams, which thank goodness we have at least 2 more coming. It also says that the talent that's already in the league is good.
Every time Cheryl Swoops criticized Caitlin Clark, Clark just kept smashing records, making Swoops' comments look as outdated as dial-up internet. It's almost like Clark's goal was to prove Swoops wrong, and she's doing it perfectly. And if Swoops' remarks weren't enough, let's talk about Angel Reese. Her attitude towards Clark is all about pettiness. Remember when she tried to hit Clark on the head or made fun of her without any apology? It seems like Reese is more interested in stirring up drama than giving a fair assessment. Let's dive into why her behavior is more about personal grudges than real criticism.
But there is no hate, no hate. We're gonna play on the same team one day, I'm sure. Like, we're gonna definitely play on the same team one day, so.
Maybe 2028.
2028, yeah.
Really, Angel? Are you serious? Take a look at this and let me know what you think in the comments. Is this just plain hate, or is there something else going on here?
The 2023 Women's Final Four, when Reese came out victorious. This one not without controversy, as Reese, attempting to block Clark's shot, also delivered a hard blow to her head. As Clark drove to the basket in the third quarter, officials upgraded the call to a flagrant 1 foul. Reese seemed to take exception to the ruling. Here's the link. But I just think going back to the tournament and coming in the same draft class, all the hype for Caitlin Clark, it's a rivalry. It's the 2023 Women's Final Four, when Reese came out victorious. This one not without controversy, as Reese, attempting to block Clark's shot, also delivered a hard blow to her head. As Clark drove to the basket in the third quarter, officials upgraded the call to a flagrant 1 foul. Reese seemed to take exception to the ruling, but I just think going back to the tournament and coming in the same draft class, all the hype for Caitlin Clark,
Seriously, what was that all about? That move wasn't just dirty, it was desperate. Angel Reese's actions have been a textbook example of unsportsmanlike behavior, shoving, trash talking, and trying to get under Clark's skin. And let's not forget when Chennedy Carter got involved, pushing Clark on the court while Reese cheered in the background like it was a big win. Real classy, Angel. Speaking of Chennedy Carter, let's talk about her antics. From shoves to taunts, it's clear she's on a mission to make Clark's life difficult. Jealousy doesn't suit anyone, but Carter seems to have made it her whole thing. Meanwhile, Clark remains unfazed by it all.
In case you missed it, the Sky's Chennedy Carter shoulder-checked Caitlin Clark from behind, knocked her down before the basketball was inbounded. A common foul was called, but the WNBA on Sunday upgraded it to a
And you know what Chennedy Carter had to say about all this?
In the head the play before, and it was just like one of those things that was in the heat of the moment. You know, I don't know Caitlin, I don't know her from anywhere, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, this is hoops, it's competitive, and this is basketball.
Look, we all know this is basketball, not WWE or UFC. It's supposed to be about skill and sportsmanship, not staging drama or acting out. After all the trash talk from critics and dealing with dirty fouls on the court, what does Caitlin Clark do? On September 14th, 2024, she breaks Alyssa Thomas's single-season assist record with 321 assists, surpassing the old mark of 316. And she didn't just barely beat the record. In that same game against the Las Vegas Aces, Clark also scored 18 points, grabbed 8 rebounds, and had 9 assists. Seriously, is there anything she can't do? She's dominating every part of the game, while her critics are left on the sidelines, probably regretting everything they've said about her.
They couldn't get away with continuing to do this. Caitlin Clark deserves love, not just respect, love for the fact that she spoke out and she gave a voice to who you, Eminem, and so many others have lamented as the voiceless, because the plight of so many females was not being addressed, was not being listened to. It was being right there, right there. That girl right there. That's who deserves that. That's her right there. Give her credit. Her.
Also, on August 21st, 2024, Caitlin Clark faced off against the Phoenix Mercury and casually scored 32 points and handed out 10 assists. No big deal, right? She's out here proving how it's done while the Mercury were probably left wondering what they did to deserve such a beatdown. That game was a masterclass in handling pressure. Oh, and she also set a new record for the most consecutive games, scoring 30 or more points, beating out Maya Moore. It's like breaking records is her new hobby. Then, on September 3rd, 2024, Clark did it again against the Seattle Storm, scoring 28 points and adding 12 assists. And that win? It wasn't just any win. It clinched a playoff spot for the Sky. Caitlin practically carried her team to victory.
I got a lot of stuff to get into, but the first order of business is to get started with the WNBA, where the league is making headlines like never before in its 27-year history. There have been 3 players this season who've been box office. We know about Asia Wilson, okay? Let's get that out of the way. 2-time MVP of the Lord, give her love and support. And last but not least is, of course, Caitlin Clark, who just led the Indiana Fever to an above 500 record for the first time in 5 years.
And just when you thought it couldn't get any more incredible, Caitlin Clark nails a game-winning shot against the Las Vegas Aces on September 10th, 2024. Let me repeat that. Game-winning. Not just a clutch play or a nice basket, but a buzzer beater that kept the Sky's championship hopes alive. Caitlin Clark is practically writing her own Hollywood script, and it almost seems unfair to the rest of the league. If I were facing her, I'd just sit back and watch the show. And guess what? We're not done with the records yet. On September 5th, 2024, Clark set another milestone, becoming the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 1,000 career assists. How fast? Just 75 games. Sue Bird, a name synonymous with greatness, held that record before. And Caitlin, she just flew past it like it was nothing.
Caitlin Clark, I'd have told Skylar Diggins, get your coat, your brim, and get on out of my gym. Let her cook. I want to know what y'all saying now, because she is legit. She's better, Stephen A., she's better than I thought she would soon. I thought she would be good. You and I both said she's going to be good. because she got two skill sets. She can score the basketball and she can assist the basketball.
Naturally, Caitlin Clark's overwhelming success isn't sitting well with everyone. Did you expect any different? Her rapid rise and extraordinary skill are making some of the WNBA's seasoned players uncomfortable. The envy is palpable, and it's starting to show on the court. Some veterans are visibly agitated, probably losing sleep over a 22-year-old outshining them. But that's just the nature of the game when someone as disruptive as Clark comes along. The predictable wave of criticism is almost laughable. Since her debut, Clark has faced skepticism. People questioned whether she'd hold her own in the league. Yet, every time someone tries to undermine her, she responds with another record-breaking performance, proving them wrong once again.
Y'all petty, girls. I expect men to be petty because we're the most insecure group in the world.
Yeah, you are.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility she bring into the WNBA. Don't be petty like dudes.
It's as if Clark's critics are unintentionally giving her perfect chances to prove them wrong. And make no mistake, they are wrong. What sets Clark apart is her ability to ignore the noise. The doubters, the critics, and those questioning her place in the league, they're just background chatter. Clark stays focused on what matters, her game, and her performance speaks volumes. Just look at her recent season. She didn't merely excel, she redefined what's possible. Those records people thought were out of reach, she's shattering them effortlessly. Ironically, as Clark continues to succeed, the resentment from her competitors only grows stronger.
See, Pete Maravich only played 3 years, didn't play as many tournament games, but Caitlin Clark, what she's done is a phenomenon.
Her greatness acts like a mirror, and it's clear some can't handle the reflection. With every record she breaks and every jaw-dropping performance she delivers, there's always someone in the background, resentful and eager to undermine her achievements. If you're impressed by Caitlin Clark's dominance and want to keep up with the latest sports insights, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about the backlash she's facing? We want to hear from you.